Round 12 AFL action kicks off tonight. The first of the bye rounds and a lot of big name players missing for their respective teams. We're going to get stuck into all this and more in this installment of AFL 2018 season predictions, teams and tips.
There is Godzirra.
What's going on, Godzirra Nation? This is Godzirra back again with another AFL teams and tips video looking ahead to round 12 AFL action. Thank you for joining me as always, and thank you so much for all the support behind this initiative. You guys have been enjoying this in a big way, and I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support you've thrown behind it. This weekend, however, kicks off the first of the bye rounds, and as I mentioned in the intro, there are a lot of big names missing this weekend. We're going to get stuck into the first game kicking off tonight. Port Adelaide hosting Richmond at Adelaide Oval. In for Port Adelaide is Jasper Pittard. Jack Hompsch has been omitted. For the Richmond Tigers, Jason Castagna and Anthony Miles both come in. Miles, having some good form in the VFL, finally gets a crack. Jack Graham has been omitted. Dustin Martin is out with an injury. He's got a calf strain complaint, and he is over in New Zealand visiting his old man on his week off. And normally, I would back against Richmond with Dustin Martin out of the team. And there's no shame in doing that. But with Anthony Miles coming in, and last week against Essendon, Dustin Martin was very quiet, and Richmond still put on a dominant performance. I'm going to back Richmond to beat Port Adelaide over at Adelaide Oval, even though all the money and odds have actually swung Port Adelaide's way since it was announced Dustin Martin is out of the game. I'm still backing my boys to get the job done. I feel we have a strong enough lineup to get it done without Dustin Martin in the team. We head over Saturday afternoon to the GMHBA Stadium where Geelong hosts North Melbourne. Geelong are going into the game unchanged. The one change for North Melbourne sees Jed Anderson out with an injury and Cameron Zurhaar coming in. I am backing Geelong at home, but North Melbourne could prove an upset here, and I wouldn't count them out one bit. But I think Geelong, they're starting to hit their stride. Their top-tier players are starting to really get some good form going, and I've got to back Geelong at home. Something tells me North Melbourne might cause an upset here, but I'm going to back my gut. I'm going to go with the Cats. We head over to Spotless Stadium, where GWS are hosting the Gold Coast. In for the Giants is Matt DeBoer. Stephen Caniglio out with that concussion he suffered last week. Ryan Griffin plays game 250. For the Gold Coast, Jack Leslie and Brad Shear are both in, with Aaron Hall and Stephen May out injured. GWS will get it done quite comfortably here. They're hard to beat over at Spotless, and those injuries to the Gold Coast leave some big gaps that need to be filled, and I don't think they will be. So GWS will get it done quite comfortably and make it 2 in a row on Saturday afternoon. Saturday night rounds out Saturday action with St Kilda hosting Sydney at the Etihad Stadium. And there are some big changes in this game. Nathan Brown, Luke Dunstan, Josh Battle and Nick Caulfield all in. Jack Billings has been omitted, as well as Brandon White and Rowan Marshall. Jaron Geary is out with an illness. Tom McCartan, Tom Papley and Daniel Robinson come in for Sydney. So it's going to be the battle of the McCartan brothers up each end. Kieran Jack is out being managed. Riley Stoddart has been omitted, as well as Nick Newman. And Sydney are going to get it done quite comfortably here. I'm glad they finally swung the axe on Jack Billings. He has been very average all year. Needs a good boot up the bum, I think, to get himself back in the gear again. It happened at Richmond with Brandon Ellis getting complacent, got booted out, come back, played good football. Hopefully the same happens with Billings, but Sydney quite comfortably get it done here. You can't back against Sydney with the form they've been running in. And unfortunately, St Kilda fans might have to put up with a bit of a shellacking on Saturday night. Sunday afternoon, we've got Brisbane Lions hosting Essendon at the Gabba. Some big changes here too. And this is an extended list, as we always say every week. So keep an eye on the AFL teams closer to the date to see the accurate ins and outs here. But we've got Brisbane naming Jared Berry, Tom Bell, Josh Walker, Sam Mays, Brandon Starkovich, and Jake Barrett as ins. And out for the Lions is Charlie Cameron with an injury and Mitch Robinson with an injury, so only 2 will come in for them. Brandon Starkovich has been named on debut if selected, and Sam Mays plays game 100 if selected. For Essendon, Mitch Brown, Mason Redman, David Myers, Josh Green, Jackson Merritt, Dylan Clark, and Aaron Francis have all been named. With Jordan Ridley out injured, as well as David Zaharakis, James Stewart has been omitted. Michael Hurley plays game 150. And this is actually a tougher pick than I thought it would be. Because my head says Essendon, but my heart says Brisbane. I'm going to do it. I'm going out on a limb here. I'm backing Brisbane to get a win against Essendon at the Gabba. I think, going off of last week's game especially, Essendon were just so lackluster and Brisbane were just so up and about. And when you look at the 2 games in stark contrast, you have to go in with Brisbane this week. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. We're going with Brisbane to knock off Essendon. I think Cripple players will be very happy with that pick there. Rounding out Sunday action, we have Fremantle hosting Adelaide at Optus Stadium. Aaron Sandilands, Hayden Ballantyne, Mitchell Crowden, Ryan Nias, and Brandon Matera all named as in. Nat Fyfe out on suspension. Adelaide have named Taylor Walker, Jordan Gallucci, Miles Polhawk, Andy Otten, Patrick Wilson, and Riley O'Brien. Patrick Wilson will debut if selected. Tom Lynch and Rory Laird both out injured. 2 big outs for Adelaide. But with the ins they've got coming in, I'm backing Adelaide to bounce back and win in Fremantle. I think Fremantle are going to have too big a hole with Fyfe not in that team. And with Taylor Walker potentially coming back in, that's some very big scoring power up forward. But then you got Rory Laird out of defence. This could go 50-50. I'm sticking with my gut. I'm going with Adelaide. I'm not going to talk myself out of it. Game of the round, 150%, is Monday. Melbourne versus Collingwood. In for Melbourne, Billy Stretch, Cameron Pedersen, Jaden Hunt, Harrison Petty, Jeff Garlett, and Joel Smith. Harrison Petty will debut if selected. Jake Lever with that ACL is out injured, and Timothy Smith out injured as well. Christian Petrarca plays game 50 for the club. For Collingwood, Ben Crocker, Jeremy Howe, Sam Murray, and Rupert Willis all named. No outs named for Collingwood. Both teams running red hot. But I'm backing Melbourne to get it done here. This could go 50-50. I don't think there's a wrong answer. Well, obviously there's a wrong answer. But I don't think backing either club, you could undoubtedly say that they're going to definitely win. But I'm going to back Melbourne. I think they've got the better form. They've got the better run. Jake Lever, okay, might leave a bit of a hole in defence. But I think some of the Demons are running a little more hot than some of the Pies. I just think that's how it's going to go down. Melbourne are going to get it done for the Queen's birthday. And obviously Carlton, Hawthorn, West Coast and the Bulldogs all sitting out this weekend with the bye. So to recap, I'm going with Richmond, Geelong, GWS, Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide and Melbourne. Be sure to get your tips in the comment section down below. We've got a competition running. At this point, if you're new, it might not be worth getting in for the sake of winning that prize, but still, for a bit of fun, if you want to jump in, feel free to do so. For everyone else that has been jumping on since the beginning with the tips, don't forget to get your tips in, otherwise you'll default to the away teams, and, you know, all the home teams this week could have a good advantage here, and you might be digging yourself a bit of a hole. But thank you for joining me, as always, for another Teams and Tips video. Thank you for all the support in general. If you did enjoy this episode and want to continue supporting this series, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button down below. If you're new to the channel, pledge your allegiance to the Godzirra Nation by hitting that subscribe button. There's a bell right next to it. Make sure you hit that so you get notified every single time something fresh comes to the channel. My social media links are down below. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. You can hit me up with whatever you like on any of those mediums. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here. Good luck to your teams this weekend. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.